In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a flashcard system that allows you to easily learn and memorize information so that you can have flashcards with a question and then an answer to reveal or hide to learn better. You can easily create a new flashcard with a question and an answer, select a topic and knock out old flashcards with the click of a button. And creating these flashcards in the first place is also a piece of cake nowadays, but more to that later. So in this video, first we will build the database that is required and then we will build the full dashboard. For those who don't know me, my name is Leon and I'm verified by Notion with all of the layer 3 badges and the admin certificate, and here is flashcards in Notion. By the way, if you want to see more videos like this, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. In this chapter, I want to set up the database with you. By the way, I also used the system to learn for the Notion badges, but now let me show you what the template looks on the left side. So what you can see is we have two views. We have an active and an archived view. So here we have, for example, a tester topic. This is just a sample information. And here we have a card, what the biggest organ is. Then here in the archived section, currently there is no card included, but here are all the cards that you don't need anymore. Let's just archive this for now, and now this card is here in the archived view. Down here is then the database where all the information lives in. But now let's move over to the right side and build it ourselves. Now first what we want to do is we want to write database, then select full page, and for the icon I like to do it in white, search for these playing cards. Now we also want to give it a name. Let's call it flashcards. By the way, as I build this, please also let me know in the comments down below which templates you would like to see as a video here on the channel. Now the first property that we want to add is we want to add a select property and call this topic. Then we also need a text property and call this answer. We also need a formula property and call this answer formula. Then we also need two checkboxes, one called archive and one called reveal. Last but not least, we also need two buttons. We need one called archive, and because we already have this, I also add a space. Then the other button is called reveal and then a slash and hide. Why I call this way you will see in a second. Now first let's configure the formula that is in our answer formula property. For this, let me copy this and paste it here. So what we do is we check if the reveal checkbox is checked, and then we display our answer. Otherwise, if this is not checked, we will not display our answer. So the formula is either filled out with our answer or it's empty. So this is, I hope Notion saved this, yes. So this is our formula. Now for the archive button, we just need to edit the property. And here we want to check our archive property. So if we press the button, archive gets checked. For the reveal and hide property, we need to make this slightly more complicated, but I will show you how to do it. We want to select our reveal checkbox, and here we will use custom formula. And the formula is not this page dot reveal. This allows us to build a sort of toggle mechanism that either shows something or hides something. So if something is revealed, this gets set to hide and the other way around. You will see that in a second in action. Now let's click on save. And now let's add our first page. Let's call it biggest organ. Then we can select a topic. Let's call this human body. Let's call this, because the answer is the skin. And now if I set it to archive, it gets archived. And if I now press this, this is now unchecked. it will get set to checked, and then the answer will be displayed. And if I click again on it, it will get unchecked. Now let's customize our layout. First, we want to set this to minimal, this off, and this to full width. Now let's move this over to the panel, and we just want to pin the topic and the archive button. Next thing we want to do is for answer, we want to add it as its own section in the layout. And for the rest, even though it's just one section, I want to add the section we want to have background. So here we have our answer formula, archive, reveal, and our reveal button. So everything in the background that I don't need. Now we can click on apply to all pages, and this is our current format. And that's it for this chapter. Let's move on to the next chapter. In this chapter, I want to set up the dashboard. But before we move on, there are 3 quick things. As normally, I will put you a worksheet with this section in the description down below. And there is also a second link where you will get everything, so also this finished version on the left side. But before we move on, there are 3 quick things. As normally, I will put you a worksheet with this section in the description down below. And there is also a second link where you will get everything, so also this finished version on the left side. And besides this demo, I also have a link for a way more advanced paid template in the video description down below. The last thing I want to briefly mention is that I have a Cal link down below for a limited amount of free calls. They are literally free, and I will answer your questions and solve your problems with you together. But now let's move on to the video. Now first what we want to do is we want to make this full width and press enter until the database disappears at the bottom. Now write flashcards, select everything, then press Command U, Command B, Command E, and if you have the white font pre-selected, you can press Command Shift and H. For me, it's not, it's green, so we need to manually display it. But I also see here that this shouldn't be text, so I want to turn this into an H3 heading. Then under there, we want to add a callout. I don't want to have this gray background, so I select default background, and here now we want to add our views. First write linked view of data source. Here I quickly renamed the database to flashcards demo, but you might only have one flashcards database. Here select the right one and now select table view, but I want to have the gallery view. For this we want to hide the title, we can show the icon, then we can wrap content, open pages in side peek, card preview. We don't want to have a card preview. For the size, I like to go for small, and then we can click on done. Now let's rename it to active. Then we want to filter by archive is unchecked, and we want to sort by the name and then ascending. The last thing that we want to do is we want to group by the topic. So now we can see we have the human body. If we would add another topic, we would get another toggle for the group. Now, really the last thing, we also, of course, need to select our properties that we want to show. We only want to see the topic, the archive button, the hide and reveal button, as well as the answer formula. Now, what we can do is we can just duplicate the view, call this archived, and not sort. We want to filter by archive is checked. Now let's check if everything is working. We can reveal. Now we can see the answer. We can hide, and we can also archive if we don't need it anymore. Now, as I said, I could add this with new page if I have something up my mind, but let's say I have a list of questions and answers, or I have something written down, creating flashcards is way easier today because of this Notion agent down here, which is available on a business plan or higher, but you can then prompt it to scan your list and add flashcards to this database. So now you have a working flashcard system. If you also want to have all your SOPs in Notion, then watch this video over here, which could be very beneficial. Stay consistent.